Welcome everyone to this edition of In the Kitchen. It is fall. I hope it's a little bit dark and cloudy out here, but it's a beautiful day. You can start seeing the leaves turning. And we just celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving last week. And the full moon a couple weeks ago was our harvest moon. And so today we are going to honor our fall with a golden harvest bowl. And I gotta say, I made this sauce yesterday and it was so good. Oh, and yeah, yay! I have this beautiful bowl ready to eat.
Looks delicious.
Sure does. It really does.
Good, Debbie.
Good,
It really
Debbie?
does. Let's have a taste test.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up myself. I wish I could share it with you guys in person. Welcome everyone to this edition of In the Kitchen. It is fall. I hope it's a little bit dark and cloudy out here, but it's a beautiful day. You can start seeing the leaves turning. And we just celebrated Canadian Thanksgiving last week. And the full moon a couple weeks ago was our harvest moon. And so today we are going to honor our fall with a golden harvest bowl. And I gotta say, I made this sauce yesterday and it was so good. Oh, I love it. So good. Using all of the beautiful root vegetables from our harvest, at least here in Canada. I don't know, Kat, if it's the same way in the US or it's a little early yet for your harvest. I know Thanksgiving isn't until the end of November, but I don't know about your harvest.
It's a little early, but we're losing the corn. The corn on the cob is fading fast.
Oh, okay. Our corn fades in like August and maybe early September. And that's okay because my family is from out west in Alberta. And by now, I think all the leaves are off the trees and ours are just starting to fall. Gloria might know because she's out in the west. If the leaves are off the trees yet, we're just getting there.
Well, the leaves are off the green ash trees, but the rest have hung on to their leaves surprisingly because we have had snow on Sunday, which melted now, but we had probably 1.5 or 2 inches of wet snow on Sunday.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, that was surprising because Saturday was such a beautiful day. It was, I don't know how it can change so quickly, but
oh, it can, that's for sure. There's no question about that.
Not Saskatchewan.
So yeah, so you're in that zone there of the kind of the prairies, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And in the south, I know Calgary got snow as well.
Oh, did they?
And
okay.
yeah, yay! What we're all looking forward to. Well, I'm looking forward to. We are very close to Glen Abbey, which used to be the golf course for the Canadian Open and all of that in Canada, but they've decided now, sadly, they're going to make it into condos because that's more money than as a golf course. So we are very close to that. And we can walk to the river valley where that overlooks the golf course. And just kind of getting into this time of year, it's like a spectacular view, just spectacular, but it changes so fast too.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So ladies, let's get into our golden harvest bowl for today. And it really is golden. So for this bowl, so some people are doing the nervous system nutrition reset. And one of the things on that is, we're eating whole food, plant-based for 3 weeks. The first week, we have one beautiful meal per day and then liquids for the rest of the day, like smoothies and soups and juices, depending on what you prefer and what you have available. But for this bowl is perfect for anybody who is doing the reset. And so that's one of the reasons I did it, also because I want to honor our harvest here. So I'm going to make some quinoa for a grain. And I like to make quinoa because it's simple. It's so easy to make. So I have some quinoa here. This is a tri quinoa. I used to get my quinoa at Superstore. It was an organic it was already washed, but I would still soak it because you want to get, there's compounds on the, hang on, let me get my little spoon here. There's compounds on the quinoa that make it bitter. And the President's Choice one that you buy here was pretty good. It was already washed, so you could use it and it wasn't bitter. I got to tell you a story. One time I bought some quinoa at Costco and I didn't know that you should wash it to remove all that bitterness. So I cooked it and it tastes horrible. And I used to walk to work and we would see pigeons all over the place in downtown Toronto. And they ate anything. So I thought, oh, I'm going to bring the quinoa for the pigeons and see what happens. And they would not touch it. Not at all. They totally left it alone. I put it by there. We had a pharmacy close by and the pigeons used to hang out there under the awning. So I put it there, like literally they did not touch it. And let me tell you, I saw them eating some really disgusting things before. I recommend you soak at least for an hour or two your quinoa and then rinse it off. This is the soaking water that I got from the quinoa. And I see lots of, so I can't remember the name, but there are compounds on the quinoa that are protecting it that you need to remove. And those things also are not good for our digestion. It will impede your digestion. You can have, and so it's really important. So I did a cup of quinoa, and then I'm going to add, so typically you do 1 cup of quinoa to 2 cups of water, but because I soaked it and I've got some of that soaking water is still there and it's taken on some of that water, it's absorbed some of it, I'm going to use 1.5 cups. And the beauty of quinoa is you could almost like set it and forget it. So I'm going to bring it to a boil on the stove. Hopefully it will be okay when we're ready. I'm bringing it to a boil. And then I'm going to, once it boils, we're going to cover it and let it sit for about 15 minutes and it will be nice and fluffy. And then usually after the 15 minutes, I turn it off and let it just sit on the burner while it's cooking. And that's it. It's almost like you don't have to do anything. It's really simple to make. And it only takes about 15 minutes. Like other grains, like rice, you got to think ahead because it could take longer. Now, I'm also going to do some broccoli, I decided. So you can pick whatever vegetables that you would like. I'm going to do broccoli and I'm going to steam it. I have another pot and I've got a steaming basket and I put water in the bottom of the pot. And I've got my broccoli that I've washed and cut up. I'm just going to put it in that little steamer basket, cover it up and put it on the stove as well at the same time so that we can have steamed broccoli. So I might leave that put that to the side. I might leave this broccoli until the quinoa comes to a boil so that I don't have, the broccoli will be ready sooner. So now what I'm going to do is move you guys to my perch here where I am so you can see what I'm doing. Hopefully we're good. All right. What we're going to do, I already pre-did some stuff, but let's see. I'm going to roast some vegetables and some of these are going to go in the sauce and some of these are going into the bowl. So I have a casserole dish. If you don't have a casserole dish, you can use a stainless steel pot with a lid. And so what I'm going to do is roast some veggies here. So I've got my veggies on the side and you can pick root vegetables are beautiful to do. So I'm using carrots that's going to also go in the sauce. I have sweet potato. I have a little bit I cut up, but I have a sweet potato and I have some beets. And we're going to use some of the sweet potato in the sauce and along with the carrots. And then the beets beautiful beets are going to go into our bowl. And I'm also could make extra sweet potatoes to go into the bowl. For me, I'm going to do carrots, sweet potato, and beets in the bowl. All right, so I'm just going to, now you just need to do let me get the beets out of the way and then I'm just going to let someone in who's here to join us. So it's so easy to cut. You don't need to cut anything fine. You can just cut it. So I've washed the skins because I'm going to leave the skins on. There's a lot of nutrients in the skins of the potatoes and the carrots. If you have an aversion to that, or you're using, these are organic, but if you're not using organic, then you may want to take the skins off because a lot of the toxins will be in the skin from the pesticides. For me, I'm just going to keep the skins on and use them. And again, if it's something that you're not going to eat it because the skins are on, take the skins off, right? The whole idea is to make progress and try new things. But if the skins really bother you, take them off. And I'm just like doing a rough cut of my sweet potato here. I have a little piece that I want to chop off here because it looks like it's not good. And then I'm just going to cut them. Rough cut. Like, I mean, I've got 4 cuts. So a medium sweet potato. And I'm just going to take my carrot and chop it up. This is my last carrot. If I had more, I would probably put more in. So I've got my carrot, and then I've got my beets I've washed. And again, I'm going to use the beets with the skin on. They are earthier if you don't take the skin off. So you may want to peel the skin. My mom used to make her borscht by peeling the beets. And I said, why don't you leave the skins on? And she said, oh, I didn't know. And I said, yeah, leave the skins on. So she did. Loved it. Nobody noticed the difference, and it cut down on her prep time so much. So I'm just going to cut the beets into kind of bite-sized pieces for myself. There, I probably should use gloves for this one. Beets. And I'm going to take off. I always like to take off kind of around where the stems are and the root. So it gets a little dirty there. But the rest of it is beautiful beets. Oh my gosh, I'm salivating here. I'm going to cut them up, bite-sized bits. And then I'm also I can add some onion. I have half a red onion that was in my fridge. I'm just going to use that up. And I got to peel it because we left the peel and the end on. So I'm just going to take the skin off. And all I'm going to do is a real rough cut of the onion and throw it in here as well. So I got some red onion that I can have with my bowl. Put my lid on. You could add a little bit of liquid to it if you would like, if you need to. It will steam on its own, and there'll be liquid that will come from it. And I'm going to pop this in the oven at 350. I try not to go above 350 because it does change the composition of the foods that you're cooking. So 350 is the magic number. So I'm going to put this in the oven. Right here, I'm going to take out my other one right now. Bring this out. All right, I made one, I'm putting one in. And my quinoa has just come to a boil. So what I'm going to do is just stir it up. And turn the heat down to, on mine, it's a medium low. And then put the lid back on and put my timer on for 15 minutes. And then I'm also going to put my broccoli. So we have broccoli in the pot here on the steamer. I'm going to turn that on. And I'm going to turn it on not full because I want to try and time it. Put it to about 8. All right. We have Rinthia here. Hey, Rinthia joining. All right. So we've got quinoa that's cooking on the stove. We have we're going to steam some broccoli to put in our bowl. And I have this beautiful veggies that I cooked up. So I am going to use some of these veggies to make a delicious sauce, my golden harvest sauce. My quinoa is still boiling a little bit here. Okay, so I'm going to take some of the potatoes and I'm going to do some of this. This is the cooked carrots. So I'm going to take some of the cooked carrots and I'm going to leave my oven mitten on because I know myself, I'm going to make a big mistake and forget that it's hot and touch it. That's what I do. So I always leave oven mitts with my stuff. So I've got about 1 carrot here that I put in, and then I'm going to take and put some sweet potato with the skins on because I'm going to take advantage of the beautiful nutrients in the skin. Again, if that's something you don't like, then peel it. You could peel and still roast it. So I've got about the right amount here of sweet potato, and then I have some beautiful stuff left over to eat in my bowl. So let me put this to the side so that I don't go touching it and burning myself. I'm going to put the oven mitts on top of it so that I don't forget, because I can do that very easy. Moving things around. All right. So for now we have our roasted veggies. I'm going to add in a clove of garlic. Now I cut this up ahead of time. What you want to do with your garlic so that you get the benefit of the enzymes, which is allicin in the garlic, that's where you get your medicinal properties. You want to cut it up about 10 to 15 minutes before you incorporate it with any other food. And that allows it to sit and allows the enzymes to come out and activate. So I've got my garlic here. I'm adding in some ginger. So I have some ginger. I am not a huge ginger fan, so I'm just going to use a little knob. Now, the nice thing about ginger, it's easy to peel by using a spoon. You just peel it with a spoon. You don't need to cut it or anything. Just peel it. And if you wash it, you can actually leave the skin on. But if you don't want to, or it's dirty or whatever, you can just peel it by using the back of the sharp edge of a spoon to peel it. So I'm just going to peel a little knob, and you can put as much as you like of the ginger. You don't have to put any, but it adds a nice flavor. This is enough for me. It's a pretty small amount. Like I said, I'm not the biggest ginger fan. I'm okay with it. And then I'm going to add some orange juice. So this is an orange juice that I squeezed this morning. Add that in. I have also some lemon that I squeezed. That's about a tablespoon of lemon. I'm going to add that in. I'm going to add in some apple cider vinegar, about a tablespoon of that as well. Didn't measure that out, so we're just going to put about a tablespoon. And then I'm going to add some maple syrup, about a tablespoon. I don't know, you guys probably never see me measuring the maple syrup. I usually just eyeball it, but about a tablespoon is good. So I love to add the maple syrup, really helps to balance out the flavors and the acid side. So a little bit of sweet to balance out the acidity. And then I have some water here to bring the liquid up. And as much as you want, you could use more orange juice as well for that. Smooth that off. And then we're just going to blend this up with our high-speed blender. Add this up. And here we go. And this is looking, it's a bit thick. A little bit thick still, but it's not bad. So you can make it whatever thickness you want. So it's kind of blobby. So I can add a little bit more of the liquid to it.
It's a beautiful color.
It is gorgeous. Oh, and it tastes good too. Oh, it's got a little bit of spice from the ginger. Oh. I have some cinnamon. I forgot. This is optional. You can add some warming spices, pumpkin spices. I've got some cinnamon I'm going to add in. That'll give it a nice touch. You could add in nutmeg. You could add in, like I said, pumpkin spice. But I almost forgot that. Yum. I'm excited. Yum, yum, yum. I'm double dipping here, but that's just me. I'm the one who's going to eat all this. It's just for me. And it's still warm too. Now I could add some more liquid if I wanted, but this is good for me. I'm going to leave it at that. You can really just judge where you want it for yourself. I would say when you put it in the fridge and store it. So what I would do is put it in a mason jar, what's left, and then I have it and I can use it on bowls for the rest of the week. It'll do a few bowls, depending on how much you like your sauce. I love sauces, so I don't like to have to be skimpy with them, which is good. So I'm looking at my broccoli, which is pretty much done. So I'm just going to leave my broccoli here. I turned it off and I'll give it another minute before I take it out. Now let's get our bowl going. This is the exciting part. Now we're going to build our bowl. So if you're doing the challenge, and even if you're not, I recommend that you have leafy greens with your bowl or your dinner and your lunch. If you're doing the one a day. And so this is a Canadian, I think it's a Canadian company. You know, this is the pre-washed stuff. You could do this. You could buy whatever pre-washed greens that you want. This is just baby greens, and it's like just a leaf lettuce, which I like. And I'll do a spring mix. I love a good spring mix, but I thought I always do spring mix on the show, so I'm going to do something different today. So I'm going to use the lettuce. And what I do is I love using a bowl. I'm not a plate person. I don't know why. I prefer bowls. But I take and put the lettuce on half of it. And then I'm going to make a bed with the lettuce. And the leaves some of them are pretty big. So what I'm going to do, I always like to kind of just go through and cut it up a little bit with a little knife, so that it's maybe a little more bite size. And now I have this beautiful bed of lettuce. Now, if you don't like doing that, you can always just leave the lettuce on the side, no problem. However you like to do your bowl is fine. So I'm just going to shred up a couple more of these pieces of lettuce, so they're not like huge when I'm eating. All right. And so now I'm going to add some of my cooked vegetables that I did earlier. Let me just do that. Bring my cooked vegetables back that are still warm. I have them here. And, you know, the fall is a beautiful time for the cooked vegetables. Also, if you have digestive issues, I would recommend that you really work with more of the cooked vegetables than the raw. And for some people that have significant issues with their digestion, I would even suggest that you do mostly cooked. And if to get your leafy greens, you can put them in a smoothie. So I've got some sweet potato. I've got my beets that I'm adding in here. All nice, nourishing stuff. And I got some carrots. I'll put the carrots on the other side because they're also orange. Just have my bite-sized carrots here. What I have left, I don't have too many carrots today. Add a little more beets. And so what I like to do is just take and layer stuff. So you can see here, you can see the steam. I'm layering it around the outside here. And I'm going to add in my broccoli now. Just going to take my broccoli here. Probably should take it out of the steamer so it stops. But I'm just going to put some broccoli in here. Now you can have raw broccoli if it agrees with you. I prefer having my broccoli cooked. Even just a little blanching is good, you know, where you just barely cook it. I find takes the edge off of broccoli. And we have broccoli is a cruciferous vegetable, which is, they say, an anti-cancer. It's known to have anti-cancer properties as well. I have cabbage here, which is also a cruciferous vegetable. So I wanted to add, for the rainbow, some purple here to go with my thing. I want to leave room for my quinoa here. Now, I love grains, so I could eat like half the bowl being grains, but the grains should just be a small portion comparatively speaking. And my quinoa just is about ready. Look at that timing. So it has one more minute left, but I don't want to leave you guys hanging here. Where's my thing? So I've got my quinoa is nice and fluffy. And you just set it and forget it as long as you put it. Now I'm going to let that sit on the stove on the burner once I turn it off for about, it takes about 5 minutes for the burner to cool down, and it'll be just perfect. So I have my my green. Beautiful. Turn my burner off. Gonna use my thing here. Put the lid back on. And if you have sprouts, you could add some sprouts to your top it off. I don't have any sprouts today, but I'm going to add, I have some red onion, raw red onion. I'm going to just top that off here and add it to the top. And then I got to put my sauce on. That's the next thing. Add my beautiful sauce. And like I said, go hog wild as much as you want. You don't have to skimp on the sauce. This is full of beautiful, nourishing foods. This is our whole nourishment. And this will make a very filling meal. I can tell you that. And add it to that. And if I want, I can go back for more. Gonna add, I have some green onion as well. I'm gonna go hog wild on the onions. Add some green onion to the top. I could add some sprouts, some parsley, any of that stuff. Fridays is, we do our shopping on Saturdays. So Friday, sometimes there isn't a lot of stuff in the house. So we're gonna add that in. And now I have this beautiful bowl ready to eat.
Looks delicious.
Sure does. Really does.
Yum, yum, yum. And
Looks great.
ladies, was that not easy to make? I hope it was, if people think it's easy to make.
Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah.
I
And
think after you do it one time, it would be easy.
yes, I agree, Kat. I actually really agree with you. So I know some people, they don't want to spend more than 20 minutes in the kitchen. So what I recommend that you do is you do some prep work. You can't see my face. So I recommend that you do some prep work. And that can be like when I have an onion, I cut the whole onion up and I put the whatever I'm not using in a container so that I have it. Now, in our family, if it doesn't get cut up, it usually ends up spoiling because nobody wants to cut it up. But if I just cut it up while I'm using it, then it goes like hotcakes at my house. You can always do things like buy shredded cabbage. I know my Whole Foods has a shredded cabbage with green and red cabbage already shredded that I can buy and just grab out of the package. Same thing with your leafy greens. If you don't want to have to wash everything, you can just use those tortoiseshell containers and just do that. And it's really just planning to make sure that you cook your vegetables. And you could cook your vegetables for like 3 days. And then, you can have a bowl and add them to the bowl and heat everything up. You don't have to cook it from scratch every time. And I've got lots of sauce left over for a couple more bowls for sure. So there's lots of things you can do. If you're prepping for your meals, I would recommend that maybe you bake your potatoes and do all of your cooked stuff one day, and then you have it for 3 or 4 days. Cut up some of your veggies. It's very nourishing on your nervous system to find a relaxing time when you can cut up the vegetables and really get into a rhythm of cutting them, put on some music. I actually find that very therapeutic. But if I'm in a hurry or I don't know what to eat, that's when you're going to make the not so good choices, or you're going to, what I do when I'm in a hurry and I can't figure out what to eat and I got nothing ready, my go-to is pasta, and that's not a good thing. So having things prepared or having a plan, it really helps. All right. So I don't know if there's any questions while I look at.
Looks good, Debbie.
Good.
It really does. Let's have a taste test.
I'll give it 2 thumbs up myself. I wish I could share it with you guys in person, but not today. All right. Very good. So this is a really easy way to make a nourishing meal for yourself and have leftovers. I wouldn't hate to say have more that you can, and an abundance that you can use to make another 1 or 2 meals. And you don't have to eat them back to back. Some people, one of my kids doesn't like eating the same thing twice in a day or 2. But you can space it out. Me, I can eat the same thing every day until it runs out. So you can decide what works for you, what feels good for you. It's just about preparing and coming up with a plan that's good for you. All right. What do I want to say? Is there anything else? I don't have anything else to say today. Wow. Okay.
Well, I would say we appreciate everything you do and all your ideas. They're great. Thank you,
so much.
Debbie.
Thank you, Debbie.